Hey everybody, Oden here. We're about to jump into the 1990 classic Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. If you haven't seen it, I implore everybody who hasn't, go and watch it before you watch this video because I'm going to spoil the hell out of it. I'm also going to be jumping into some behind the scenes facts and trivia that you might not know about, so stick around and let's jump right into it.
And now, our feature presentation.
What do you think of when you see that New Line logo? For me, it's probably The Lord of the Rings or A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Many don't even know they've been victimized until it's too late. In fact,
The Foot Clan hideout was actually filmed at Wilmington, North Carolina. They used that for a couple other sets. One of them was The Crow and Super Mario Brothers, the movie.
How many Marios are there between the two of you?
It's Mario and Luigi Mario.
The yellow coat April O'Neil wears in this movie is an homage to her character in the television show, but it was a yellow jumpsuit.
If we're going to be married, I need to freshen up a bit.
The actress didn't want to wear the actual jumpsuit that they had for this, so they settled for the coat instead. Golden Harvest presents.
Major League Butt Kicking is back in town.
Whoa!
Awesome.
There they are.
Bossa Nova. Excellent.
Sadly, this was the last film that Jim Henson was associated with before his passing. He died about a month and a half after the film's release.
We have had our first battle, Master Splinter. We fought well. Were you seen?
The voice of Splinter is Kevin Clash. He plays the voice of Elmo, and he was the puppeteer for him for the longest time on Sesame Street.
Elmo's happy now.
A large, thick crust with double cheese.
Every time I hear this song, I always think of one movie. Can you guess which one?
Ninjutsu.
Pee-wee's Big Adventure. In order for the turtles to move the way they do on screen, they actually were cumbersome on set, so they had to shoot the turtles at 23 frames a second to make them seem like they were moving faster than the typical 24 frames a second that we see. That was a mess up right there. You just saw the guy's arms. He was just wearing the turtle feet, and you see his arm kind of wave down, and it's just a regular hand. Donatello is played by Corey Feldman.
Hey, Mikey, did you ever think about what Splinter said tonight?
If you don't know who Corey Feldman is, you need to check out some movies in the 80s. The Burbs, Gremlins, Friday the 13th. This guy here is Michelin Sisti. He plays Michelangelo in the costume.
Just slip it down here.
Critters. I think it also stars Corey Feldman. Just a grown turtle, like 6 foot tall, would make me want to run for the hills. Casey Jones.
And this is the penalty.
Elias Cortias. I really liked him in The Prophecy. That movie doesn't get a lot of love. You don't hear much about it, but Christopher Walken plays a great version of Death.
It's unusual to see someone your age in a church on a weeknight.
The guy in the back seat, that was the guy who plays Raphael, the one who just flipped over the car. Jim Henson didn't like the violence in this movie. He said it was pointless and didn't really see the point of it, but he kind of just let it go, but he was still proud of the animatronic work that he did for it. I still think the animatronic effects in this still look great, just because of the practicality of them. To see that compared to the Turtles that we have today that came out maybe, 5 or 6 years ago, it's all CGI. It was all done in the computer with actual actors there on set that were taking their movements and such and putting it in the computer to make what we see. At the same time, it's not the same as seeing this movie and showing just how realistic it still looks.
I'm in love.
There is no evidence to link such a name to these.
I think they do a really good job with Shredder in this movie.
As the foot exists.
Not tonight.
Every time you see Danny in a shirt, he's wearing a Sex Pistols shirt with Sid Vicious on it.
We've been waiting for you, Miss O'Neill.
The one talking is Leif Tilden. He plays Donatello.
Wandering the sewers, scavenging for whatever I could find.
Stop motion animation
I came upon a shattered glass.
with real turtles. What really sells this scene is the fact that the claymation rat is hidden in shadow. It's hidden and you can't really see the flaws, which is the same sort of thing they did in Jurassic Park to shoot the Tyrannosaurus Rex in the dark. It kind of hid a lot of the issues they had at the time.
I'm not dreaming, am I?
No, I'm afraid not.
Are you guys, except for frozen pizza?
Let's go for it! You know? What do you think? Adrian!
It's not that good of a Sylvester Stallone.
Splinter.
And this part right here for a kids movie, it's pretty dark. What was that?
What's wrong?
Splinter.
That was close! Time to switch to decaf, April!
This movie cost $13 million to make at the time, which is a third of the cost of the Batman movie that came out a year before this.
Check it out, man. Anything you guys want, we got it.
Look who it is, Sam Rockwell. I like his entrance. And his music, all this is just like guitar and hard drums.
Money cannot buy what you have earned tonight.
His voice too is so intimidating.
Master.
Danny, no! If you notice, all the news reporters' names are months of the year: April, May, June.
Our recent crime wave is reminiscent of a secret band of ninja thieves who once operated in Japan.
Well, the Foot Clan is actually a parody off of The Hand, which is another group of ninjas that you see in Daredevil. Daredevil actually has a lot of parallels with the Ninja Turtles, not including the hand and the foot having a lot of similarities, but also the way they were born into being superheroes. Both Daredevil and the Ninja Turtles were made from toxic waste, basically. This was all a set. You can kind of tell in the background when you look at the buildings. It's just like a backdrop. Just a random guy sitting back there with a bunch of axes. I'm waiting for my turn.
Now what?
Casey Jones.
You guys mind telling me what you're doing to my little green pal over there?
I like that visual. You've let me down, man. I'm sorry, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, thank you!
You're welcome.
You're welcome!
The common trope you see in movies like this, when the man and woman are going to fall for each other later on in the movie, they usually hate each other at the beginning. Throughout this entire thing, Michelangelo does not say a word, not a line, while they're at this farmhouse. I don't know the reasoning. Damn. It's kind of manhandling, isn't it?
Funny Mikey!
See? No words. He just laughs.
If you drag this out of here for nothing, don't worry, I came prepared. Wait. I love you all, my sons.
When you look at kids' movies back in the day compared to now, it just seemed like they were just heavier movies back then, emotionally, and sometimes even darker. All this that's filmed right here is actually still filmed in Wilmington, North Carolina. They only filmed some shots in New York, mostly just filler shots, but all these city shots that you see here, it's all just in North Carolina. The farmhouse was actually shot in Massachusetts, which is the state of where the creators of the Ninja Turtles came from.
Really go for a little deep dish action right about now.
Every time I see Danny's Sex Pistol shirt, I always think of Gary Oldman playing Sid Vicious.
Who the hell do you think you are?
Sid Vicious.
In 1990, when this came out, this was the highest grossing independent film of all time. But it was unseated in 1999 by the Blair Witch Project, sadly. Johnny Depp, Keanu Reeves, and Christian Slater are actually up for the role of Casey Jones, but Ended up going to Elias Cortez instead. I think he does a good job in the role, but it would have been interesting seeing Johnny Depp.
Why is the rum always gone?
Many years ago, I lived in Japan, a pet of my master Yoshi.
In the cartoon, Yoshi was actually turned into Splinter.
Taught them to be ninja teens.
And this one was completely different. He was actually just a pet to Yoshi. It was probably a good idea they didn't go that route because it would have been hard to explain how he turned into a rat.
You wear his symbol upon your brow.
Take it off, criminal. This music always reminds me of some kind of 80s video game. Like some boss battle you would have in Sonic the Hedgehog or something. Whoa! Steve, let's stand here and just let it hit us.
Oh, no more?
They mimicked that same exact entrance in Batman versus the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It was a cartoon that they did a few years ago. It's a fun thing if you really want to watch it because they play homage to this along with the animated show. One thing I will say is probably better in the new one compared to this one is the Shredder's costume. This one's kind of sparkly and I don't know, it just doesn't hold up in terms of style. I still like the helmet and everything, it's very original, but when you look at the new one, it's much more sleeker and a little more villainous.
Guy knows where Splinter is.
Dramatic turn. I do like that they're showing the fights. Anything in, I mean, they're not getting into it as much as they used to, like in the Bourne series. When you watch Bourne, it's very much a shaky cam, can't tell what's going on. Back in the 80s and 90s, they showed you what the fights were all about. They kind of gave you a wider scope of it, so you get to see every kick and every punch. I think when you start showing these quick cuts, it takes away from what the stunt coordinators and the stunt people actually did. I mean, if you think about it, it's a horrible way to kill somebody. Even though we know he doesn't die, spoiler alert, he does kind of meet his doom in the second one, but Casey Jones basically just tried murdering somebody. In a kid's movie of all places.
It's something I owe you. Trust me.
I am now a better person because of you.
God, where have you been? I've had the whole city looking for you.
Dad, I've learned my lesson. I'm coming back. Things will be different now.
Check out the East Warehouse over Lebanon Island. Get your answers there.
The names he used are actually the creators of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles comic book. So they were paying a nice homage to them.
Can you just shut up and kiss me, okay? I got a report to do.
Kiss?
Wicked!
Cowabunga.
Cowabunga.
Cowabunga. I did a funny. Made a funny. Oh, the 90s. You gotta love it. Well, there you go. That was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the 1990 classic that I love revisiting. I'll probably watch it several more times before I leave this earth. But what did you think of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Did you like it as much as I did because you grew up with it? Or have you watched it for the first time and now you're watching this going, wow, that was a pretty cool thing. I like the facts you threw in there too. Hopefully you did. If you didn't, well, I'm sorry. But if you did, please come back every Sunday because I'm going to be doing the same thing next time. But until then, see you later.